I work for an organization called the Black Mesa Water Coalition. Our work is focused on a region on the Navajo Nation called Black Mesa. But I'm going to talk a little bit first about kind of what it's like on the Navajo Reservation, what it's like in those communities that are there. So the Navajo Nation is bigger than the state of West Virginia, and it's in Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah, in the southwestern United States. On our reservation now, there's almost 70% unemployment, and it's always between 46% and 54% unemployment. That's just normal, but it's much higher nowadays. And we also have a long history of all kinds of fossil fuel development and resource development. We work on coal, but there's also a history of uranium mining. There's a big fracking boom going on right now for natural gas, and there's also oil and gas development on the Utah side. And besides that, the first thing that were given away was timber in one region of our reservation called the Jushka Mountains. That's actually where I'm from, or the region where I'm from, as well as water, obviously. And there's about 200,000 Navajos that live on the reservation, 200,000 that live off in big border towns and big cities in the southwest. It's very common for people to live now and grow up without electricity or running water. 75% of all the unelectrified homes in the United States are on our reservation. And where we work in Black Mesa is home to 2 coal mines. The Black Mesa mine and the Kienta mine. The Kienta mine provides coal for the Navajo generating station located on our reservation in Page, Arizona. It's the largest coal-fired power plant in the western United States. And the reason that it was built is to push water from northern Arizona to central and southern Arizona. So that's how Phoenix and Tucson, are able to have their golf courses and swimming pools and all that kind of stuff and live their crazy, unsustainable life. We've gotten some jobs off of, as coal miners, off of this development. Some money goes to our central tribal government, but really we don't get anything except the negative impacts. Impacts to water, overuse of water, contamination of water, impacts to the environment, and also impacts to people's health. That's really what we see and are faced with. And we've visited and worked with people who live maybe a quarter mile from the mine off a dirt road, who worked for the mine for 35 years and still don't have electricity or running water, and are also very sick and are not being helped out by Peabody Coal Company. So that's the reality of where we're at now, and the challenge that we're faced with is how do we get out of that situation? This has been going on since the early 70s, so it's been 40 plus years that this is like the only economy that we've seen. And how do we get out of it? Our work is focused on creating a just transition, and that's like, here we are, here's where we know we want to go. We want to see an economy that's based off of cultural values, traditional values, things that our people are already doing, and how do we get from A to B? That's what I think of when I think of what is just transition, and trying to figure that out and trying to navigate the contradictions of that. We kind of think about it in 2 phases. So first is a project that we're working on called the Black Mesa Solar Project. This is kind of like phase 1. And our idea here is, can we use the reclaimed mining lands and do a large-scale solar project on those mining lands? Those places can't be used for anything else. They've been contaminated. They're quote-unquote being reclaimed, but they're contaminated. So can we put solar on top of those areas, since there's existing infrastructure, since there's existing buyers of electricity like LA Department of Water and Power, since there is 4 major electricity lines that run across our reservation and through that area, can we tap into that and provide energy to those cities? And can we as Navajo people be owners of that electricity? We don't own the coal mine, we don't own the coal-fired power plant, but what if we were actually owners of a renewable energy project in which we could have money coming back into our communities that can then be used to invest in other forms of economic development that are not providing energy to unsustainable cities? And that would be phase 2. So we're also working on projects. 2 of them is called the Navajo Wool Market Improvement Project and the Food Sovereignty Project. And the idea is that, what is it that our communities are already doing, and how can we support that? Our communities produce wool, our communities grow food, and these are traditional and cultural things that they're keeping going. And how can we strengthen that and build an economy off of that? Yes, to make money, but also just to provide food for our own people, just to provide work for our own people, and take care of ourselves basically, and figure out not how to bring in more money necessarily, but how to make it so we don't need money so much, and be resilient in that way. What I said earlier around navigating contradictions is, the example is the Black Mesa Solar Project. Because I personally believe in that we should be providing energy and continue to provide energy for major unsustainable cities like Phoenix and like Los Angeles? No, I don't think that. Do I believe in large-scale any kind of energy development? No, I don't believe in that. But that's what I'm talking about in navigating contradictions, is trying to figure it out. And not being scared and not being too focused on the long-term vision and idealism that we're not able to take advantage of the opportunities that we have now. And then the last thing that I want to say is just a little bit about, that 7 minutes went by real quick. But the last thing I wanted to say is maybe like, what are our needs now? I think are kind of major needs, and the current moment that we're in and we're probably going to be in for the next year. So our work has gotten a lot of attention and a lot of support, and I feel like there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, we want to invest in the solar project, and we want to be a part of that and help to fund that kind of thing, which is great, and we definitely do want that. But I also wanted to pull out that it's also important, along with that, to have an investment in community organizing and building organizations and building community in order so that not all this money is being flooding in and then causing more problems. Like, we need to prepare for that as well. There's so many more organizations besides ours that work on the reservation, like Tuona Jona Ane, Diné Citizens Against Ruining the Environment, Save the Confluence, and they all need support, and they're all doing great work. And I think that the number one and most important thing that we can do is to be supporting community organizing, building more organizers, and so that we can actually realize the just transition that we want to see. So my time's up. Thank you.